There's the real circus liquor, like we saw that lamp in Valley Relics the other day. What the heck? All right. We got a few dogs out here, not too many. It's weird, the other park we go to, if you go anytime before 10 a.m. there's almost no dogs. This park, if you come after 10 a.m. there's almost no dogs. And the problem with the other park is if you get there after 10, there's almost nowhere to park anywhere in the neighborhood at all. Oh, and good morning, guys. Probably wouldn't hurt if I said Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now, would it? Alright, so what I was thinking of doing for the vlog today was, yesterday we were talking about our friend Leonard, and he had always asked me a couple of movies to vlog at some point, and one of them was a really big favorite of mine, so that's what we're going to vlog today. Today we're going to do a couple of the filming locations from Corey Haim and Corey Feldman's License to Drive. Now, this was one of those classic 80s movies that the underdog gets the girl, and this was also one of those classic 80s movies where it was the two Coreys. They were putting Corey Haim and Corey Feldman in movies together, and it was just kind of a natural fit. They were friends anyway, and people really loved the movies. I think it started with Lost Boys, and it wasn't planned for this movie. Actually, Corey Feldman was auditioning for Les Anderson, the lead, and when he thought he got it, then all of a sudden he gets a call saying, well, you didn't get that part, you're gonna play the best friend of that part, and oh, by the way, they gave the lead to Corey Haim. And Corey Feldman wasn't all that happy because he said he had already kind of like dealt with that during Lost Boys. He didn't want to be packaged so that it was always a Corey movie, but he said it was a great movie and a great part, so he's like, I had to do it. And of course they went on to do like Dream a Little Dream together as well. But I think this is probably like maybe the most well-known thing that they did together as far as like the comedy working off each other. They had a really great chemistry in this. And it was nothing new, these two being considered for the same parts. I believe I heard in an interview where Corey Haim was originally considered for Corey Feldman's part in Goonies, and Corey Feldman was considered for Corey Haim's part in Lucas. And it's kind of strange that for a movie being about getting your license, neither of those two Coreys had their license when this movie first started filming. Corey Haim ended up getting his license, I think, halfway through the filming, because he said he went directly from the DMV to the set and told the director, hey, I got my license so I can do the driving stuff now. Or the permit. Maybe he got his permit. I've done some filming locations for this movie, so I'm not going to repeat the ones I've done, like the El Rey, or what else did we do? Johnny's Broiler, which was Archie's in the movie. We've done both of those already, and even The Hill, where Les has taken his driver's test. We're gonna today go to their school and also to Les Anderson's house. Hello, hello, hello. You having fun? You're probably about ready to go, aren't you? Yeah, we'll take you home while I go out and do some vlogging. Is that cool with you? Eat your breakfast. Alright, now if you remember, the movie technically starts in a dream sequence that Les is having during driver's ed class. So we're going to the school where he's sleeping during driver's ed. Look at the back of the RV, it says, Rainbow, miss you, I love you. Well, here we are, Walter Reed Middle School. Well, this is it. We see Les Anderson in the middle of a nightmare where he's trapped, chained, and handcuffed to a bus, and the bus driver is his driver's ed teacher. So when he wakes up, the driver's ed teacher is yelling at him for sleeping through driver's ed, saying it's punks like you that we scrape off the road at 3 in the morning. So we see Les Anderson doing pre-Simpsons. We see him doing the I will drive safely on the chalkboard, and then he realizes he's going to miss his bus, so he comes running out this door and running across here and sees his bus taking off. Now, just as he does that, his buddy Dean, Corey Feldman, comes riding up on the bicycle and starts talking to him because he's in love with Mercedes Lane. And we see Mercedes actually sitting right here on this bench with her back towards us. And Dean saying, well, hey, there you go. Why don't you go talk to her right now. But he doesn't. He ends up hopping on the front of Dean's bike and they take off on this insane adventure where Les is riding on Dean's handlebars. Now, we also see Paulo, the guy that Mercedes is dating, the older guy with the red car. He comes flying up right here in the car and hits the brakes and picks up Mercedes. She hops in the car, and while Dean and Les are still standing here talking, he guns the gas and you see him take off right here and almost hits Les standing on the sidewalk. So that's pretty much the, well, then they have another scene. Now that I think about it, they have another scene after Paulo and Mercedes have gotten into a fight at the party and she says that she has a date with Les now. Les is out here and he sees Mercedes right there again and decides he's gonna go over and ask her if they still have their date. And as he starts walking to her, his dad embarrassingly pulls up with Grandpa's Cadillac right here and says, Les, wanna go for a ride? And takes him for a little practice for driver's ed because he's gonna have his driver's test that Saturday. Now we're gonna head way across town. There's no way that Dean and Les rode this bike to Les's house. Ain't no way. But we'll go over and we'll check out Les Anderson's house. It's realistically about a 45-minute drive. So we're heading over to UCLA campus. That's where the house is. There you can see a sign for UCLA up there. This is the rarely seen side of Sunset Boulevard. Here's UCLA right there. So after Les's dad picks him up at school and takes him out driving, they're out and about and they come up to this intersection and Les sees Mercedes Lane out walking and asks his dad if he can, well, basically if his dad will get out of the car so that he can go and just cruise by her and talk to her. Now, just about a block down the road from right where we were is where Les's house is. Now, believe it or not, Les's dad is cool enough to get out of the car even though Les only has a permit, and does let him go and swing by Mercedes, and right over here is where Mercedes ends up getting in the car. Les goes around the other side and opens the door to let her in and jumps up showing off to his dad. And this is the same exact corner that his dad was standing on, and it hasn't really changed all that much. I'll put a photo of him standing here with the diapers. He thinks Les is just going over to say hi and come back, but Les ends up taking her for quite a drive. And Dad ends up walking home. So he's standing right there. So I gotta tell you, even before we go, I am a huge fan of this movie. How I got into this movie was when I was a kid, my dad would tape stuff off of HBO that he thought I would like, that he liked. And one day I went over there to his house on the weekend and he said, I think you're really gonna like this one. Now I remember it distinctly because that's when people still tape to VHS, and his VHS ran out. So at the end of the movie, I never really knew how it ended. When his tape cut out, it was when Grandpa was looking in the peephole. So forever I thought that was basically like the end of the movie, and there was like 3 minutes after that, but the end of the movie is actually where we're going to next. So I've loved this movie forever. So it was no problem when Leonard said he wanted me to do it. I was just, thinking about him yesterday from when we were vlogging. I said, I wanna keep that promise and do that vlog today. Now, the girl of Les's dreams in this movie is Mercedes Lane, and Mercedes Lane was played by a very young, and I believe it was her first movie, Heather Graham, who I also had a crush on after this movie. And I realized as I was driving by here, this hill is also in the movie, so I'll show you that real quick. Yeah, we get a camera shot right here of this house when Corey Feldman's giving Corey Haim a ride home. They come flying down this hill, and this is where you see the guy is going slowly on his bike up the hill, and Dean and Les are flying down the hill. Alright, so the first time we see Les's house is when Dino is riding him on the bicycle with Les on the handlebars up here. I love seeing this. I've never been here before. So they ride up here, and at the time this picket fence wasn't here. That was the all shrubbery, and dumps him off right here on the yard, and that's when he says, "There you go, Les, front door service." And then he look over here, and Dad is in the garage. So inside that garage where we see Les and his dad talking about, hey, maybe I can borrow Grandpa's car. And he's like, no way, Grandpa's got my car. He'd have a stroke if anything happened to this car. So of course, Les ends up failing his driver's test, and he's not supposed to be going anywhere. But his parents fall asleep, and Mercedes calls him, and he decides to sneak the car out of the garage right here without turning it on. And so that's when it ends up going like catty corner down here and through the shrubbery, drives right through the bushes. So there's like 2 car marks right there. Hi. So the homeowner just came out and told me she just found out like a week ago that this was in the movie, and said they were like the 3rd or 4th owners since then, and that a lot of the insides have been changed, but they did film it inside. And the beams up at the front door, the 2 pillars, those weren't there in the movie, but pretty cool scene. This is when they bring Grandpa out at the end of the movie to show him what happened to his car, and he starts laughing, and he says, yeah, I had a little trouble with your car too. And then a tow truck comes flying up right here in front, and you see the BMW that Grandpa had borrowed is just completely demolished and smashed. But that's also when Dad says, you know what, Les, you always wanted a BMW, here you go, take good care of it. And Les says, thanks, Dad, but I don't think I need it. I've got a Mercedes. And then Mercedes Lane pulls up in like a VW, and Les hops in, and they drive up this road. It's actually, yeah, they actually use this exact spot too, because when you go around the corner you can see the bend. Yep, the very last scene is them driving off right through here with the classic Billy Ocean song, Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car, and they're just like swerving up the road. Now, a few little things about the movie. I would have thought from watching the movie that Corey Haim and Heather Graham were dating or something, because they kind of came off like a pretty good fit, even though she's passed out through half the movie, literally. But no, they were not dating or anything. Corey Feldman said that he took her to like an award show, but nothing happened. There was, you know, just kind of like a friend thing. But no, nothing happened with Corey Haim, because she didn't particularly care for him during the filming of this, because he had gotten mono. And so whenever there was a kissing scene, she didn't want to really do it, and the directors kind of forced it to happen. So when they were out there dancing on top of Grandpa's car with the skyline and everything, she was not cool with kissing him there. So he said, I actually told her, you know, look, I'm sorry, it's not my fault. I'll go take my medicine right before we do the kiss, so that, you know, we'll have less of a chance of anything happening. And he said then they got word like 2 weeks later from the director, hey, we need you to reshoot it. We're gonna do it indoors and like do a screen and everything. So she was not happy that she had to redo that twice. That's crazy to actually get to see this. See, this is where the car would have come out, and Les would have had to push it to get it started and everything. Classic movie if you haven't seen it. If you're wondering how close Les's neighborhood was really to UCLA, it's literally like the next parallel street over. There it is, directly in front of us. I got the laundry and you look gassed out, my friend. Are you all gassed out, huh? Take you outside here in a little bit. We'll go for a big walk. What do you say? So, I stopped at the grocery store on my way home and had to get some laundry detergent so I could, you guessed it, do some laundry. And when I was parking my car right beside where I was parking, loading in her trunk was Kelly Lynch from Roadhouse. And of course, as soon as I saw her, all I could think of was Bill Murray calling her husband every time Roadhouse is on. Just thought I would tell you guys. Thought that was kind of funny to run into her at the grocery store. Probably his favorite thing, without a doubt, is laying in my warm laundry straight out of the dryer. Soon as it goes on the bed, he hops in it. Alright, my friends, we are going to call it a night. I want to thank Jerry for becoming my newest Patreon. And tomorrow I think we're going to do a special Patreon sunglass vlog. I think tomorrow is going to be a pretty fun day, and I think that I have just the pair of sunglasses and just the vlog for it. So come back and see me tomorrow. Have a great night, y'all. This was a fun one. Take care. Goodbye.